light. Darkness. A balance. It's so much bigger.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Noisy Boy here, and we're back with another Let's Chat on Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, what is the balance? What do we know about the balance? Well, as you can see in the trailer, what does Luke Skywalker mean by it's much bigger? Does it mean there are different abilities? Does it mean there are more abilities? Does it mean you can wield both the light and dark side of the Force abilities? But this also poses another questions like, what does this mean for Anakin? Was he supposed to bring balance to the Force? Was the Emperor right by saying the Jedi's views were narrow-minded?
Anakin, if one is to understand the great mystery, one must study all its aspects, not just the dogmatic, narrow view of the Jedi. If you wish to become a complete and wise leader, you must embrace a larger view of the Force.
And if you think, what is the meaning of balance? Well, balance is a situation in which different elements are equal or in the same proportions. So, if you think about the ideology about yin and yang, light and dark, day and night, one cannot exist without the other. Yin and yang are like opposite forces, yet they exist together in the harmony of a perfect orb. If you put that proverb into the Force and Star Wars itself, it makes sense for the balance to be that perfect orb. Yin and yang are a vital force, the primordial aura, the balance. So pretty much the balance uses the light and dark sides of the Force to become one. In Star Wars The Clone Wars, there were such beings of power that used these kinds of powers. The son, the daughter, and the father.
Cannot sleep. To strike an unarmed man is hardly the Jedi way.
You're a Sith Lord.
You have a very simple view of the universe. I am neither Sith nor Jedi. I am much more. And so are you.
I see through your spells and visions, old man. Tell me what is going on here.
Some call us Force wielders.
The son representing the dark side of the Force, the daughter representing the light, and the father being of both sides of the Force. But as we've heard before in a lot of memes in the past and certainly in the future, good is you've got good and evil, light and dark, but to all of us in Star Wars, they're just points of view.
A certain point of view, a certain point of view, a certain point of view.
Which can only really lead to one thing, that Anakin was chosen to balance out the Force, but he was balancing out the Force to lead the way to something else, something more. First comes day, then comes the night. After the darkness shines through the light, the difference, they say, is only made right by the resolving of grey through a refined Jedi sight. So, pretty much what, I'm predicting here is that Luke and his refined Jedi sight will train Rey in the ways of the light, but not the Jedi. They have, Jedi have certain, things that they, resolve their Jedi teachings around. I don't think he'll teach them the Jedi way. I think Luke will teach her just how to harness the light side of the Force. Now, in another prediction, I think Kylo will end his confusion of the light and the dark. He started in the light and then got corrupted by Snoke, where that part in the prophecy says, after the darkness shines through the light. So it says here, the darkness shining through the light, where obviously he was on the light side of the Force and wanted to become powerful like Darth Vader, and got corrupted by the dark. So now the dark is shining through the light. My predictions is, it says, I think that, Kylo will join Rey by, it says in the prophecy, by resolving the grey. So there's that grey area, but I think Kylo will join Rey and Luke, and I think, just like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think that he will show Rey the ways of the dark, not the Sith, so to speak. I just think he will show how to harness her passion, her anger, to use them to her will. And I think, Rey will become the balance, and, wielding the light and dark side, the primordial aura, a force of nature itself. So that's pretty much what I think is going to happen in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. There's obviously going to be other elements that bring into it now with, who is Snoke and what is Snoke and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, that is my prediction about, what is the balance. I think the balance is nature. I don't think it is the light. I don't think it's the dark. I think it is both. Like I was saying about yin and yang, they're opposite forces, but they work together. I think that is what Rey is going to be. I think Rey is going to be the balance. I think you've seen in canon and some of the other books and comics and all that kind of stuff where Luke is wielding both the light and the dark side of the Force. I think Rey will be the first true wielder of the balance. A lot of people tend to think that Luke, I think that it's called The Last Jedi. I think Luke is the last Jedi, not as in he's gonna die, just more as in the Jedi ways are gonna stop with Luke. And I think that which pretty much means that the Emperor was completely right, that the Jedi's ways are narrow-minded. And there's I think at the end of the thing and the trailer when Luke says it's much more or much bigger, I think that's what he means by that the Force is the Force. It is not a tool, it is not a weapon. It can be used for anything and anyone that travels through that kind of energy. So that's what I think the balance is, guys. I think the balance is Force nature itself. So it'll be funny to see if this actually happens. It's my predictions. I know there's only 3 or 4 months before The Last Jedi comes out, but those are my predictions right there. So tell me what you think, guys. Am I talking out of my ass? Am I completely wrong? I would like to hear your comments and your feedback in the comment section below, and your own predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen? Because I'd love to hear and discuss what you guys think. That's what I like to do with these Let's Chats. I just like to chat with you guys about stuff like this. But anyway, guys, I will just leave it there. So please, if you did like it, please smash the like button to support my channel. And if you haven't already, think about subscribing so you can get all these Let's Chats discussions straight away, and we can just chat straight away. I am